Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Thursday, September 17th, 2020, 9:30 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It is Thursday, GMing Tips Day. We're going to do a little random advice from the 1E Dungeon Master's Guide. That'll be fun. It's always a good time, right? Yeah, that good old tome with all the good stuff in it from Goodsville. Death Angel Shadow, how you doing anyway? Were you hearing that echo before? On the first attempt at a startup for today's show? Was that doing the crazy? I mean, one of me is enough, right? We don't need two of me yelling in your ears. That's just that's too much. That's clearly way too much. So we did 51 seconds of a false start show. Bummer. Well, there you go. That's okay. We got back on track. Oh, yeah, it's gone now. That's why I restarted the show. Yeah, that's what happens when you leave the volume on in Twitch, is you get the sound from the stream, and of course it's echoing. Oh, you saw a Sonic commercial. Oh, so you weren't... Yeah. I should start my stream like a minute earlier so that whatever commercials are out there can run. I think they're usually, like a minute long? And then start my recording. Now, as far as the recording is concerned, I'm just recording whatever is me, broadcasting, and it does not record the commercial, so the commercial just blocks out whatever the first 30 seconds or minute of recording is, and then that's what you see in the stream. So, yeah, recording is local in OBS, exactly. That is more succinct than I put it. Anyway, so I guess if I hustle off of the screen too fast, people don't see this wonderful title placard. So nobody sees the opening placard in the stream, anybody that's here. Yeah, it dropped for a second. I had to take care of some business on my side. That's why I cheated up the placard too. I didn't want anybody to see me dealing with something. Clever how I then announce it, right? Anywho, random stuff, huh? So, I wonder if... Boom, boom, boom. Wonder if we could find... Oh yeah, I got the yellow ones now. I forgot I picked those up. Blue. Oop, I need to roll another one. Where is the 6 at? The blue 6. There it is. So that's 178, 188, 192. That's like the end of the book. So if we go here, boom, and then we go to a page that I just randomly rolled. Is that weird? It's a random day, so we're doing a random sort of... It's an experiment. See if it's worth pursuing in this way. So what do you think? 92. See, that gets us right before the city-town encounter explanations. What do we got there? This is part of Appendix C. We were looking at some of this in world building the other day. We kind of scraped over this stuff. GMing tips. City guards. Encounters with 2 to 16 mercenary soldiers in the employ of a city as gate and wall guards or in a police function. There will always be one higher level leader, 2 if more than 8 guards, 3 if more than 12, in addition to the 0 level guardsmen. The leaders are of the 2nd to 5th level fighting ability. They will question suspicious persons, arrest lawbreakers, etc. In addition, the guard will always be accompanied by a magic user of 1st to 4th level who is indentured for 1 year for some service rendered to him or her by the city which was not repayable in some other manner. Bad debts, resurrection, it's right in there. Infraction of city rules, non-payment of taxes, etc. So, there's an interesting thing there, right? Something worth discussing for GMing tips. How do we play these people? How do we play these city guards and make them not just... Well, we like there to be some moments when you're GMing. Your job primarily is to introduce conflict into the ongoing game to thereby either move things forward or to complicate things so that it's interesting even if it's not moving forward. Conflict is a story element, and it can come in almost any form, from a broken shoelace that causes someone in the middle of climbing a mountain to lose a shoe. And what's the old, for lack of a nail, the horse lost a shoe, for lack of a shoe, the general lost his horse, for lack of a horse, he lost a battle, right? So these things can escalate, right? If you lose a shoelace and thereby lose a shoe, and you're climbing a mountain, and presumably high enough that you're getting into cold weather, you have the chance for frostbite, well, there you go. Get out your wilderness survival guide and start rolling on the tables for whether or not you get frostbite and potentially damage a foot, either temporarily if you get some magic healing down when you get back, or regeneration, because you could lose a foot, right? And that's going to affect a lot of things. Potentially your adventuring career. Well, so too city guards are potentially mundane, right? They could be as simple as these aren't the droids we're looking for, move along. They can be swamp castle guards. So if he wants to leave, we should go with him because, keep him here. They can be confused, comic relief sort of guards. Hey, Skull and Pants, how's it going, Mike? Lex Fire, good morning. Thanks for joining us. They can be very matter-of-fact just background players almost. You know, you enter the city gates. There's a hustle and bustle of people. There are wagons going in and some individuals going out to their farm fields. It's early in the day. There's a market day, so it's busier than usual. People bringing goods in to take them to the stalls to sell. There are still a number of people heading out, whether they're going to other towns or they're heading out to the countryside to find out why so and so didn't show up, or what's his name who came with me forgot the rutabagas. There's a big bushel. It's sitting right by the door. I don't know how he missed it. So there's 100 little reasons why people can be coming and going, but there's always going to be some city guards, right? Are they up on the walls looking down on people, eyeballing them suspiciously, looking for people that are bringing in weapons or contraband to maybe overthrow the current regime? Are they stopping people and making sure that they have the right privileges to be going to a market? Are they authorized? Is this something they are allowed to do? Ooh, there we go. That was exciting. Are they actually somebody who's associated with the town and thereby um, people who are allowed to actually sell goods at the market? Do you need a permission? Are you tacitly permitted because you live in the area, and if you're from out of town, maybe need some sort of paperwork? Do they need to be checking for paperwork? Are you authorized to only sell certain things? Maybe they should be looking through your cart and making sure that the guy who's only allowed to sell cheese is only bringing cheese into the market and not going to be selling some other things under the table like his lotus petals or some other illicit substance to locals, thereby causing more problems for these poor, already beleaguered city guard. And what about if they're not doing the job that they're supposed to be doing? Is there is there a leader of the city guard that's nearby who's going to be admonishing them for not looking in every cart, not checking every bag, not making sure that the permissions are there? Maybe people need to have some sort of a badge or insignia. Hey, Lost Nomad, thanks for coming. Maybe they need to have some sort of insignia or something that shows that they live in the area. Perhaps it's a xenophobic um, city or county or country or kingdom, and they don't want people coming in and out of town regardless of their origin if they're not from here. Because they want money to stay in the local economy. And if people are coming from a long way away and selling off stuff, and who's accountable? If they sell a chair that breaks a month later, well, why didn't? Sure, they sold it cheaper, but how do you chase this guy down now? He's out of town. The local chair maker's still here. If his chair broke, he'd have to fix it or replace it. So there's all sorts of concerns that might lead to certain protocols that these city guards are supposed to follow. But again, what if they're not following them? Do the leaders then replace them? Do they call other guards in? If there is some sort of a infraction by people coming into the town, do they then call in additional guards and double check everybody? Do they set up a roadblock blocking the gate and only allowing people through after they've been searched rather than, are they spot checking individuals? And what about the adventurers who are coming back from a dungeon and they've got they're carrying a huge chest full of stuff and a big backpacks full of all sorts of stuff, miscellaneous swords are poking out of the top, and It's obvious all this stuff is very heavy. Who are these people? What are they doing bringing a bunch of stuff into town? And, got to make sure they're not troublemakers. They're probably looking probably looking somewhat the worse for wear, right? They've been beat up. There's probably a lot of injuries, a lot of torn clothing in places where they were rent by creature claws and teeth, and maybe there's some burn marks on them from dragon's fire, and they're missing their eyebrows and their helmets dented. These guys are obviously people that get into fights all the time. Do we let them into the town? Do we just let them walk right in? Do we question them? Who are they? Where have they been? What have they got there? Where's my cut? It's possible that some guards are looking for a bribe. It's possible that some guards, if you try to bribe them just to speed up the process, are going to take offense. And this is a crime because either they're upright and they will not take a bribe, or they think it might be a trap set up by one of their superiors. So they got to make sure that they really, really press it now, because they want to make sure that their boss doesn't fire them for having been negligent. Ooh, there goes our buddy Emrakul. Yeah, see, he came into town, and the guards are not happy about him being here. This guy's a troublemaker. Look at him. He's just riding around, shooting people with magic missile and such. You can't have that. That's not good for business. And that's really mainly it, right? If a town is a civilized area, chances are, in most cases, it's veering toward lawful. Because civilized areas manage to exist based on some form of organization. And that usually includes laws, and that usually includes laws for the furtherance of those that are part of that community. That is the way you get everybody to acquiesce and be part of a community, is by representing that community with those laws. And so you have to determine which laws fall under the purview of the city guard to enforce at the gate, and how stringent they have to be about it. Now, it may be that this is the most wonderful kingdom in the world and they've never had any trouble. And so, the supervisor's saying, well, no, don't stop every cart. It pisses people off. We don't want people in a bad mood. Then the people will start fighting and they'd start arguing. Everybody's happy. You know everybody pretty much by face. You can look at them and say, oh yeah, there's Bill and he's bringing rutabagas, and there's Stanley and he's got turnips, and when they come in, wave at them, say hello, let them go through. Now if you see somebody you don't recognize, so that's when we start to have to decide how recognizable, how well known are the adventurers in this location. So if they're regulars in this town, if this is the town whence they're from, how much do the guards know about their comings and goings? Do they know there's a ruins 5 miles to the south that these people have been heading out and plundering? Is it important that they know the business of people that come and go like this? Did they grow up in this town? Maybe these guards actually know these people for years and years and years, and when they've taken up the sword or learned arcane magic and have decided they're going to go off to the ruins, maybe they've been thought of as kind of reckless, kind of stupid. There's nothing up there. Nobody's ever found anything up there. Well, the adventurers know there's a hidden underground area, and maybe it's all undead and it's never been anything that's come out of there. Is anything coming out of there now? Are these people considered troublemakers because they've stirred up some evil And now there's been trouble in the area with the occasional zombie wandering down to a farm and killing people. What's going on with that? So there are so many different permutations that you have to take into consideration and just let your mind wander. There's all sorts of ways. Do free association like I've been doing for the past 15 minutes here and think of different possibilities so that these kind of things can create additional conflict within the game and then create interesting situations that the players then players through their player characters have to deal with to make it a worthwhile game. Now, it may just be that there's so much going on that it's enough to say every time they come into town, they get searched. They get looked over, or they at least get questioned. Bill, who they've known since childhood, at the guardhouse says, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going, everybody? You got to those ruins again? Everybody coming back? Oh, I see. There's only 5 of you, and not 6 of you. Where's somebody get hurt? Somebody. So there's going to be little red flags that are going to cause questions, and while they might not do anything about it at the city gate, these people talk. They're going to talk to their superiors. Word's going to spread around town that these 3 adventurers came back 1 short, 4 left, 3 came back. They're carrying a huge chest. They've got big backpacks full of stuff, and word's going to get around. The word spreads fastest in places where people congregate and have little more to do than throw back a few beers. So definitely the places like the taverns and the well where people go to fetch their water and run into people they don't see all day otherwise in the morning will be places where information like that passes from people to people. And once that information gets out there, then suddenly these crazy people that were going off to these ruins that everybody thought, well, there's nothing there. What are they going there for? Well, they're coming back with stuff. Lots of stuff. In fact, they're spending money. They've been giving money to the church, the temple suddenly. They've been buying all sorts of additional equipment. They're picking up 3 weeks each worth of food because they're going back. They're going to go back and stay there, not just overnight, but for possibly weeks on end. Well, that's just insane. How extensive are the ruins? Is there underground? What are they? Oh, so maybe they'll get questioned by somebody higher up. Maybe these city guards pass word up to their superiors. Word gets passed up even further to somebody in the government, and they want to know what's going on. I mean, this is within within a day's ride of the town, right? So now they have to know: does it pose some danger to the town, to the farmlands? Will it disrupt the economy for good or for ill? I mean, if monsters are wandering out of there and destroying farmlands, that's problematic. But it's also problematic if suddenly tons of gold and silver and copper is finding its way into the local economy in large amounts, because that's going to devalue local currency in some ways. People see a flood of money. Well, I got to get my share of that. Maybe that chair I'm selling is priced too low. Maybe this chainmail, particularly items that could be purchased by adventurers, they're the ones who have the money. These swords, let's tack on 10%, right? I've been spending a lot of time. I've had to make extra goods, and it takes away from my other thing. They justify it in some way so that they can say, when they charge more for it, that there's a reason. But really what they're doing is gouging. There's people coming into town with more money than anything. And what about when they go to the tavern and they start spending money? Are they encouraged to buy a drink for the house? Hey, everybody's kind of been talking about how rich you are. You don't want to look cheap, right? So why don't you just, I don't know, give me 20 gold. We'll get around for the house and try to get everybody to shut their mouths or be nicer to you. And then, of course, there are going to be people that are opportunistic. There are going to be people that are trying to swindle or con. Hey, my uncle used to go up there a generation ago. He brought back this map that shows where there's another entrance near the ruins. Maybe there's another way underneath. You were talking about having found some underground layers there. Well, I happen to have a map that shows. Now, of course, he made that map that afternoon, then dipped it in tea so it looked old. But if he can sell it to these guys, he can make a small fortune and maybe not have to work the rest of the year. But all sorts of ways you can mess around with. Looks like the Tom on the Wall says I've been gabbing and running my mouth for nearly half an hour. So, ooh, there we go. I want to thank everybody for coming. Everybody who's here, sitting in the stream chat, I do appreciate it. I also want to say to everybody, come on back tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. What is tomorrow? Well, it's Building Adventures Day. We've got GM reviews on Saturday, rules retrospective on Sunday, weekly news and announcements on Monday, cartography and world building on Tuesday, campaign discussion on Wednesdays, and we're back around the horn to GMing tips on Thursday. If you're catching up with this on YouTube, thank you very much. Please do subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Make a comment if you got something to say about anything. Constructive criticism is always a good thing, and it helps us make the show better, and we appreciate it. So, I want to thank everybody. Have a great day, and we will see you again soon on the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.